Hello everyone, and welcome to question 2 of the Plant Reproduction series. In this video, we'll be working through a question from the Eastern Cape 2025 Provincial exam. This question is worth 11 marks. Question 2.1 shows us that we have a diagram with a hummingbird pollinating a plant. Now in this image, we can see that there is pollen, we can see there is a stigma, and we can also see there is nectar. Note that the pollen is part of the male reproductive organ and it contains the male gamete. The stigma is part of the female reproductive organ and it is the surface onto which the pollen will land. And it extends downwards into the ovary containing the ovules. The nectar is the sugary substance that the bird is attracted to. I'd like you to pause the video and answer the questions that follow. So 2.1.1 asks you to name the plant division represented by the plant in the diagram. That would be angiosperm or angiospermophyta, but saying angiosperm is just fine. Note that for these kinds of questions, when you're asked to name the plant division, try to use the scientific names instead of the common names. So for example, instead of mosses, you would say bryophytes. Instead of ferns, you would say pteridophytes. Instead of conifers, you would say gymnosperms. And instead of flowering plants, you would say angiosperms. 2.1.2, state two unique characteristics of the above mentioned plant division. So, the word unique is our keyword. When you are asked to name characteristics that are unique, this means that the characteristics that you list cannot be found in a different plant division. So, what is it that angiosperms have that other divisions don't? They produce flowers. This actually makes them the most diverse division. And their seed is enclosed in a fruit. It isn't enough to say that they produce seeds because gymnosperms also produce seeds. But what is the difference between the two? In angiosperms, the seed is enclosed in a fruit, and in gymnosperms, the seed is naked. Remember, gymno means naked, angio means vessel or to be enclosed within something. Identify the part which A produces a male gamete. Now for this question, we have to choose the labels that are on the diagram. So you can't write something that isn't labeled on the diagram. So the part that produces or contains the male gamete, which is the sperm, would be the pollen. The part that is located on top of the pistil would be the stigma. The stigma is the surface onto which the pollen will land. The part that attracts the hummingbird to this plant, in this particular diagram, it would be the nectar. So this is the sugary treat that the hummingbird is attracted to. Explain the significance for reproduction of having both male and female reproductive parts so close to each other. So, when the male and female reproductive parts are on the same plant, this allows for self-pollination. So the word self-pollination is our keyword. This is what we must mention in our answer. So, self-pollination allows for the pollen to land on the stigma and for fertilization to occur, resulting in the formation of a zygote, an embryo, and eventually a new seed inside the ovule. Right, 2.1.5. Name another pollinated agent attracted by the strong scent produced by the plants. That would be insects. Remember, we've only learned about two main living pollinating agents, that is birds and insects. So for this one, you don't need to give a specific answer, you just need to give the general word. 2.1.6, discuss two important roles pollination plays in plant survival. So, pollination allows plants to reproduce. The reason why it allows plants to reproduce is because it transfers the male gamete, which is the sperm, to the female reproductive system. So this enables reproduction and for more plants to grow. Cross-pollination creates genetic diversity. Remember, if you have sperm from plant A being transferred to the ovary of plant B, Those two plants may be of the same species, but they have a different genetic makeup. Because the different genetic makeups are being combined, this allows for genetic diversity. I'd like you to count your ticks and give yourself a total out of 11, and then we can move on to the next question. Thank you.